Today we're going to talk about the composer George Frederick Handel. He was alive in 1685, so a long time ago is when Handel was alive making music. When Handel was alive, they didn't have people to take pictures. That wasn't invented yet, so they did paintings. And back then, they wore a lot of wigs, kind of like the presidents did in pictures you see of presidents. So this is a wig that Handel is wearing, and it's actually a painting, not a picture. So he had to sit very still for this picture or painting, and that's kind of why people didn't always smile back then, because if you have to smile for a few hours at a time, it's not very fun. Now we're going to talk about some facts about Handel. He was born on February 23rd, 1685, in Germany. He died on April 14th, 1759, in London, England, which is a part of the United Kingdom. Since he was born in Germany, his nationality is German. Just like most of us, if we were born in the United States, our nationality is an American. So he was born in Germany, so his nationality is German. There are 7 different music time periods. Starts with medieval, then goes to Renaissance, Baroque, classical, romantic, which doesn't mean love songs, that's just what it's called. And then the little purple spot is the 20th century, which is where we are right now. Handel composed during the Baroque time period, so that's the time when he was composing his music. Handel was born to a family that did not value music. Kind of like if your family is really involved in sports, basketball, football, baseball, whatever, your family wouldn't be into that. Handel was really into music, but his family was not into music. Handel's family wanted him to be a lawyer. However, Handel was so determined to learn music that he smuggled a clavichord into his home. A clavichord is a stringed keyboard instrument used primarily from the late medieval period through the Renaissance, Baroque, and classical eras of music. It's kind of like the first piano, what people had before the piano was invented. Handel became very skilled at this keyboard and caught the interest of a duke. At that point, Handel's father allowed him to finally study music. As a professional, Handel spent his time writing Italian-style operas, theatrical music, and oratorios. An oratorio is a large piece of music for a group of singers and musicians that is usually sacred or religious in nature. So this type of music would last like an hour or maybe even more, and there could be different little pieces of music inside that all added up to the whole oratorio. Handel earned most of his living as a court composer to a prince and later to the King of England. So whenever the king was having a party or something and needed music, he would go to Handel and say, "Please write me a song for this event," and Handel would compose the music for him. That's how they got music for their parties and different events back then. Now we are going to listen to some of Handel's most famous compositions. We won't be able to listen to all of them, but we'll listen to a little part from some of his famous compositions. The first composition by Handel that we're going to listen to is called Water Music. This one is one of the kind of longer pieces. Go ahead and click play here. They're using the whole orchestra for this. So the strings family, there's some woodwinds and brass and percussion that will come in later. That is the conductor telling the orchestra when to start, when to stop, when it's their turn to play. There you see some oboes that are playing. So this keeps going on for a while, but that's a little bit of Handel's water music. The next one that we're going to listen to is Handel's Messiah. Now, this is one of those oratorios that could be up to an hour, maybe 2 hours. You see down here, the time of this video is 59 minutes, and this is only part 1 of the whole oratorio. There's actually 3 parts for this oratorio. So there's lots of little songs all combined into one big oratorio. A lot of times this song is heard at Christmas time because it kind of tells the story about Jesus being born, and so a lot of people will go to hear it. The Kansas City Symphony here in town still plays this every year. You could go listen to it at the Kaufman Center, but this is Handel's Messiah, and this is at the very beginning of it, so we'll listen to a little bit of this. So in this oratorio, you'll see there's the orchestra sitting right down here playing. This guy is the conductor. The stick that he has in his hand is called a baton. It's just what some conductors use so all of the orchestra can see them. Then sitting behind, we have the choir that will be singing, and there's also 4 solo people. You can't see the other guy over here, but there are 4 solo people that also have parts throughout this whole oratorio. Now we're going to skip ahead to another part of the oratorio, and this is when the choir is getting ready to sing for the first time in the whole oratorio. So the whole orchestra, or the whole choir, keeps singing there for a little bit. Then if I skip ahead a little bit more, here we come to another part where there is a solo. This would be the bass singer. Behold, he shall come, saith the Lord of hosts. And then when they're done, they just sit back down and they go on to the next part of the song. So that was the bass singer of the solo people there. Then if we keep going, this lady that has the red dress on, she is the soprano singer. So we'll hear a little bit of her solo part. They are singing in English here. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to understand them, but this is English, and they're kind of telling a story. That's what an oratorio does. It kind of tells a story. And almost like a little bit of opera. goes right into the next song, or the next part. So there's no real pausing in between each song. They go right into the next part. Then the last part we're going to listen to, this is a different choir and orchestra. You see there's a lot of choir up here. The orchestra is down here on the floor. And then our 4 solo people are right at the front. This is the last part of the Handel's Messiah. And this is the Hallelujah Chorus. So this one is one of the most famous songs. A lot of people know this song, and I bet you've heard it and maybe didn't even realize that that's what this was. You'll see the audience all stands up. Whenever you hear Handel's Messiah, or the Hallelujah Chorus from the Messiah, everybody usually stands up. Now, you don't need to do that right now, but if you were to go to the Kaufman Center and listen to this, you would stand up during this part of the Messiah. So we'll play a little bit of this here. And it keeps going for a little bit, but that is the Hallelujah Chorus. So now if you ever hear the Hallelujah Chorus around Christmas time or any time, now you know that it was written by George Frederick Handel, and that was our composer for this month.